there is a rise in instant gratification culture, and it has made us a bit impatient. So, what are some everyday life situations where it affects us?
Not about everyday life situation. Sometimes if I'm starting to learn something new, a new skill or something new, if I'm not immediately good at it, I kind of like not do it. There's no instant reward for me for starting to do it. So it is actually affecting the way I learn or improving myself. I think that is one big point that instant gratification is affecting me every day.
I think that I could consider as an everyday situation. We are all learning at all times, and we do all go through it. So yeah, and I totally agree with it too. Deepak.
Can I bring up a point that Vyas made in one of the previous Chitalayam? Okay, so he talked about Vyas talked once about how self-help is more useful if you're reading a book, but not so much if you're reading articles, right? So this culture of instant gratification has kind of contributed to changing the way we learn and process information and our information ecosystem itself. And so now we receive a lot of short bursts of information, but not a lot of deep learning. And so what that does is it's created what is called an attention economy. Because people's attention spans are lower, what happens is that everything from corporations to like people who are seeking your attention for a cause, they have to market themselves in a certain way. And if something involves a lot of nuance, then it cannot by definition be structured in a way that appeals to a low attention person. And that I feel has contributed to the loss of nuance in our culture and sharpening of polarizing opinions overall.
I'm wondering if this is kind of the point to introduce the concept of the hedonic treadmill. So, for those who've heard of it, it's like this observed tendency in human beings, and we'll include resources as always, where despite like a negative or positive major event in your life, you generally still tend to return to that same kind of established average level of happiness and peace. So, it's almost like you're on this like constant cycle of seeking pleasure, and once you get it, it doesn't necessarily sustainably raise how happy you're feeling or how well you're doing. You tend to level back to that same average point. So with tying this back to instant gratification, sometimes personally it feels like if I'm not careful with the reward systems I have and I'm, constantly gratifying something, it almost fries my ability to perceive that pleasure after a point. And so things that I was, seeking and that were making me happy, if I overdo them without discipline or without, the proper reward system, then they actually even lose value for me. So I don't know if this is an experience that other people have had too, but yeah, I think that could be a downfall of this too.
You bring up a very good point. Sometimes it's a sort of thing where how pain sort of once you do it enough times, it doesn't seem like pain anymore. The same thing kind of works with happiness too, because it's a balance, and because of that, like what Sia said, like makes a lot of sense. And I do want to add like one other point. Sometimes people, one of the everyday things that we do is we see a good deal which will probably come up almost like every week or so. But then we just see it as a good deal, where it's like it's not about the price, but rather the amount, the percentage that's off, like 30% off, 40% off, and not really about how much you have to pay, or like the tax that the hidden tax and all that. And sometimes we tend to buy it, but then after that, like you may not even be interested in it, because I do know some people. Who sort of just like go to Amazon just to check like, oh, what are the new items that have been coming up, and what are the new trends that are going on. And sometimes you don't even want it. It's just that like it looks like you want it, you want to have it, and that's the instant gratification that you get from just like seeing it, and you're like, you know what, I think I should get it. And sometimes we buy it, whereas like you actually don't like the item, you just like the deal, and we don't use it after that.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to see more videos on the topic, make sure to check out our playlist where we answer more questions. We'll see you next time.